Good morning, everyone. Today we celebrate the feast of St. Teresa of Avila. She was born very early in the 16th century, shortly after the Reformation, when Martin Luther breaking away from the Catholic Church and establishing what we now know to be the Protestant churches, Protestant churches. But as she was raised by a very honest and pious father, and his argument is always, you must never lie. Her mother, on the other hand, was a romantic, and she loved to read, and she would read often these romance novels, of which Teresa's father didn't approve. So on the one hand, she had the father saying, don't lie, and on the other hand, she had her mother sort of saying, well, don't tell your father. And that brought about confusion in her life, that she just felt that regardless of what she did, she was always going to be sinning. She was always going to be being dishonest. And that brought about a kind of a behavior which led to her father, during her teenage years, sending her off to the convent. Convents in those days were not what we know to be convents now. Often people who were destitute, young women who were destitute and so forth, went to convents as refuge and became nuns. And obviously that led to a devolution, if you like, of values. And they would tend to raise money by partying and being popular. And so it was kind of a lifestyle that Teresa unfortunately fell into. She developed at the age of 41 a sense of deep prayer, obviously aware that even then claiming her sinfulness, she developed a great desire to pray. And the strategy that she used was mental prayer, if you like. Okay, and so she would pray often and long. In fact, her prayer was often so intense that she began to levitate on occasions. She began to float, suggesting to her fellow nuns that they actually sit on her to hold her down. So with all of that, she got some criticism from the conservative members of her community and effectively was threatened with being thrown out. So she began her own reformed Carmelite order, if you like. It was a devout order of poverty and prayer, and she used to write extensively about her prayerfulness and the way in which she would pray and her spirituality. Those works became recognized after her life, and she was later declared a doctor of the church, obviously having been declared a saint as well. So an interesting lady, one who has given us a lot of examples, showing us that in fact we're all going to wrestle with a little bit of temptation, a little bit of frustration, and also having to choose between sides, and how often do we find that happening in families. So let us pray today, especially for Teresa of Avila, and ask her to help us through our trying times as well. May God bless you. May you have a wonderful day. See you soon. Bye-bye.